Akwa Ibom government to institute monthly welfare support for 5,000 youths. Government plans equipment leasing yard to support food sufficiency in Akwa Ibom. In a women task on support for Umoino administration, maintenance of peace. And frontline legal luminary Obong Otumedu goes home tomorrow. Details in just a moment. Good evening and welcome to Akbc 45 News at 8. I am Ufot Udaken. Now the news in detail. A social welfare program for youths has been instituted by the state government. The welfare program is to support about 5,000 youths monthly beginning from October this year. Governor Moino announced this at August edition of Government House Service. He also announced a shift in dates for the conduct of the People's Democratic Party PDP councillorship and chairmanship primaries. Our Government House reporter Patience John tells us more.
The monthly covenant service held at the State Government House Banquet Hall had the Deputy Governor, Senator Kwene, other members of the State Executive Council, the legislators, the clergy, and other guests. Addressing the gathering, Governor Moino commended youths in the state for maintaining peace in the ongoing nationwide protest and announced the institution of a monthly social welfare for 5,000 youth across the 31 local government areas of the state, starting from October this year, to reciprocate their gesture.
They did not protest not because the police stopped them, but because God spoke to them. And we are extremely, extremely grateful to our youths for understanding that we can dialogue and we can get all what we want. Much as we respect protest, but they understand that hoodlums can hijack this protest and they can cause mayhem. Within the next 2 months, we'll bring out a program that will support every month 5,000 youths in this state. Because by 1st October, we should be able to launch a program that will every month support 5,000 youths in Akwa Ibom State. It will be across the entire local government and it will go round.
Governor also announced the postponement of the party's councillorship and chairmanship primaries to now hold on Saturday, 3rd August and Monday, 5th August 2024.
A lot of us have gone from our ward to other people's wards to choose councillors. I will not allow it. A lot of wards have chosen their councillors. I understand they've cancelled the names of those councillors the people chose, and you have deliberately chosen your own. I will not allow it. You leave your ward, you go to another person's ward. What do you want to do with all of those? Sambok, as the leader of the party, I beg you to shift it to Saturday. Let us correct this list. I've received a lot of complaints. Please allow people in their ward to exercise their franchise. Bring out the person they want. Bring the best candidates.
The General Secretary, Assemblies of God, Nigeria, Reverend Godwin Amawo, in a sermon, admonished the people to look unto God and put their trust in Him at all times.
If you don't have faith in God, if you don't have faith in yourself, you will be ever defeated by the enemy. You believe that God has said, and it must surely come to pass. And anytime you have faith in God, you feel excited in your spirit. You feel big. Hallelujah. And Paul will say, I know whom I believe. And I'm persuaded He's able to keep that which I have committed unto you against that day.
The service featured choir renditions and praise and worship. The covenant service has as a theme, but they shall proceed no further. Patience John, Akbc News.
The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Christian Youths, Apostle Samuel Young, has called on Christian youths in the state to embrace peace in the face of the ongoing national protest. Speaking with our reporter, the SSA said Akwa Ibom is known for her peaceful coexistence and should not surrender her disposition in view of the protests. The reports.
Apostle Young admitted the plaguing economic situation in the country, which has affected Nigerians adversely, and the right to protest as enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution, however sued for peace considering the many interventions by the Umoino administration to ameliorate the sufferings of Akwa Ibom people.
The present government of Akwa Ibom State is doing everything possible to give the people of Akwa Ibom State the kind of life they deserve. The government is doing everything to ameliorate the pains and suffering of the people of Akwa Ibom State. You can see all its programs, all its interventions are geared towards protecting and promoting the welfare of the people of Akwa Ibom State. I said we are not really stopping anybody from protesting. It's a right. It's a constitutional right. And my advice to the youth is that make it peaceful, devoid of violence. If you really have to protest, please make sure you do it within the bounds of the law and it doesn't infringe on the right of others.
Elderly monthly package of 50,000 naira, donating free completed 2-bedroom bungalows to indigent members of the society, skills training with cash grant of 500,000 naira each on completion, payment of education grants to undergraduates, and bursary, as well as food intervention through the bulk purchase agency, among others.
We have a listening governor. Of course, protest is based to give out a message to the government. And we have a listening governor who is aware of the plight of the people, very much in touch with the people and caring, compassionate governor, and is doing everything he can to make sure that good welfare initiatives are promoted in this state. So it is not necessary, and I advise the youth to shun the protests in the state. More so, a protest at this time where there are many unscrupulous youth waiting for every opportunity to hijack the protest. You are aware that the governor recently had a meeting with some stakeholders in the state, and where some of these issues were highlighted and to the governor, and that was a platform, a forum, where citizens could interact and have an interface with the government, and the governor, knowing who he is, will pass on the message to appropriate quarters. So that to me was a better platform, which I believe we have made good use of.
The SSA equally appreciated Christian youth in the state for conducting themselves peacefully since the beginning of the nationwide protest and encouraged them to desist from any action capable of causing disharmony and violence in the state while trusting God for a better Nigeria. Patience John, Akbc News.
The wife of the state governor, Pastor Patience Sumoino, has advised parents and guardians against entrusting their children to unknown individuals to avoid dehumanization, exploitation, and violation of their rights. The governor's wife was speaking in Oron during the observance of the 2024 World Day Against Trafficking in Persons by the Uyo Zone Command of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP. Margaret Bassey reports.
The event began with a carnival float from Oron Township Stadium through Market Road and terminated at Oron Council Secretariat, where officials of NAPTIP and members of support groups displayed placards with various inscriptions. Pastor Patience Eno, who was represented by the Honorary Special Advisor to the Governor, Princess Felicia Bassi, commended NAPTIP for its efforts in educating the community on the perils of human trafficking, highlighting the significance of hosting the event in the riverine community. The Governor's wife, who described the 2024 global theme, Leave No Child Behind in the Fight Against Human Trafficking as apt described the alarming statistics of child trafficking, where girls are proportionately affected. She pledged to collaborate with NAPTIP and other organizations from her non-governmental organization, Golden Initiative for All, GIFA, in activities that will boost community awareness and provide stronger safeguards for vulnerable children in order to eradicate human trafficking and related atrocities in Akwa Ibom State.
While I commend NAPTIP for holding this strategic sensitization in this riverine community, I appeal to persons to be careful with the people they hand over their treasured children to. We must, as caregivers, ensure that we should and protect our children and wards from the dangers and threats.
The Zonal Commander of NAPTIP, Mr. Awen Emmanuel, represented by Mr. Ben Esang, said the Zonal Command of NAPTIP has recorded great strides in combating human trafficking and other ills associated with it. He called on partners of the agency to take decisive steps to liberate thousands of victims held bondage by modern-day slavery.
Since 2013, when the United Nations designated 30th July of every year as World Day Against Trafficking in Persons, this date has become significant in the global fight against human trafficking as a day to remember the victims of human trafficking across the world. I call on you today to go beyond the repetition of catchphrases and slogans associated with this celebration and match words with action in order to liberate thousands of victims.
Goodwill messages were received from the Ministry of Information, Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academics of the University of Uyo, and leader of the Yarima Kaiso Group, Professor Antonia Essien, Ekius, Noctal, and others.
We will continue to work against human trafficking.
Akwa Ibom State government frowns seriously at this act
and want us to be alert. We also have to cry to our churches, anywhere we find ourselves, communities, women groups, let them know that the government is against trafficking.
Only through united action can we address the root cause and devastating impact of trafficking.
Margaret Bassi, Akbc News.
In a bid to encourage large-scale farming, plans are afoot to set up an equipment leasing yard to support farmers in the cultivation of massive hectares of land in the state. The Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Ofiongo, on Wednesday distributed farm inputs to commercial farmers in the state, adding that Governor Moino will, with the facility, will support small and large-scale farmers and boost food production. The distribution held at Academic Headquarters, Suyo. Eroda Paul reports.
Presenting the input to large-scale farmers in the state, Dr. Ofiongo said the support to farmers will be systematically, adding that the ministry intends to focus on other value chains and that farmers in different categories will be considered in phases. She noted that in the course of the distribution, the ministry has carried along different categories of farmers to enhance food sufficiency and also emphasized on the need to sustain the partnership.
Try to carry along every category of farmer in this exercise as much as we can, and today we reached out to the large-scale farmers. I've seen that there is no level of farming anybody knows that does not need support from government, because it's a social service. The journey to food sufficiency is a journey just like success. And on a journey, you go to different levels at different times until you arrive at your destination. So please, let's work together and we'll arrive at destination.
Setting the tone for the event, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mrs. Mary Koite Bassi, affirmed that the distribution of farm input is facilitated by Governor Moino to boost food production in the state. Mrs. Bassi, who charged the recipient to multiply the input, recalled that across the 31 local government areas, individual farmers, groups, public primary and secondary schools have so far benefited from the input support program.
While we have given to individuals, we have given to so many farmers here in Akwa Ibom State. We've given to schools, primary schools and secondary schools. So today we are out here to give you what the governor sent our dear commissioner.
The beneficiaries, including Prince Uwemi Taituk, appreciated the ministry's effort to timely engagement of the people in the second planting season, called on the government to further enhance the engineering unit of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to support commercial farmers. The managing director of Vika and Rodic Farms, Dr. Sikbo Isienibok, and Reverend Richard Edikbo applauded Governor Moino for taking agriculture seriously and his concern towards encouraging all to return back to the farm to produce enough food for the populace.
We have problems. Like we have the cows. Right now, if you go to my own area, you find almost 70 cows sleeping there. So it seriously needs a political will, because we cannot fence such a large area of farm and still benefit. It's our great-grandchildren that will come and benefit. We'll just labor in vain.
We are excited to be here, and I hope we'll be excited to see the outcome.
Iyageno Paul, Akbc News.
We'll take a break here, and when we return, INI women task on support for Moino administration, maintenance of peace, and a frontline legal luminary, Obong Otu Medu, goes on tomorrow. This and more when we return. Stay with us. You're still watching Akbc 45 News at 8. The women of INI local government area have been tasked on continued support for the Umoino administration and performing their roles as bridge builders. The immediate past Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Glory Edit, gave the task when she played host to women drawn from across the 11 wards of INI on Thursday. Iyageno Paul tells us more.
Speaking at the event held at her Ikbeikonkon residence and had in attendance female stakeholders, Dr. Glory, who is the president of Mary Slessor Akanglo Foundation, said there is need for women to remain committed to the present administration in the state, led by Governor Moino. Dr. Edith lauded Governor Moino for being gender sensitive and for leading Akwa Ibom in a way that pleases God, and appreciated the wife of the governor, Pastor Patience, for the numerous lives she has touched through her pet project, Jifa. The erstwhile commissioner urged the women to be united and to maintain the existing peace in the area, imbibe the culture of praying for their children, encouraging them to be steadfast and support Governor to succeed in office. Dr. Edith advised women to ensure that they vote in the coming local government polls, but warned against things that would truncate the peace enjoyed in INI and Akwa Ibom.
His Excellency Pastor Moino. Akenam astere mieba nto. Pasieda anye Adam ayena me memeka kai so back Akwa Ibom State. So friendly. After meeting Tibanini across the 11 wards. Everybody from Ward 1 to Ward 11, we will support Pastor Moino. Abasiedio onye. Ana bukara mommy. Aka kai so fun. some 8 years. Getting up on Jesus.
Also speaking, the Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Ofiomofo, expressed gratitude to the women of the local government area for their unwavering support for PDP during and after the elections, and lauded Governor Moyno for the peace enjoyed in the state, the agricultural boom, and other life-touching projects his administration is attracted to INI.
Imikom, the governor of Akwa Ibom, His Excellency Pastor Moyno. Ikomo ye. Kena ina Akwa Ibom ba geben. Kena ini wo iri bono mi fana. Ite na protest Akwa Ibom very peaceful. Come by in now of guys say be PDP. Tomaka word gede. Even this against you many we give one can. Many we give one can. Many we do voters.
In their separate goodwill messages, the representative of women from each of the 11 wards assured Dr. Edith of the unwavering support to PDP and Governor Moyno.
Our Excellency Pastor Moyno. Man of fun, you people get in front of you. In fact, I'm going to Naiba and Equipment. Oh, you buy my pay on the phone. Yaba said, young may come. Naki paying him. They come and take and get. A guy ready them. A guy get fun now. As far as Dr. Gloria Baran, say, I start a work. It was made for the Onion Pop. And yet I'm poor who came.
High points of the meeting were prayers for the governor, his administration, leaders, youth, children, and peace in the nation. Eyageno Paul, Akbc News.
A nursery, primary, and secondary citadel of learning, Diplomats Academy, located off Idaro Road, Uyo, has held its end-of-year celebration. The events, which held at the school sports ground, featured awards of certificates to graduating students, as well as recognition of outstanding staff of the academy. More on that report will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletin. Indigents of Midam Ward 1 in Abak local government area have decried the imposition of a councillorship aspirant on the wards, calling on the state governor, Pastor Moyno, to intervene and give them free hand to make their preferred choice. They hit the streets of Abak with placards sending strong disapproval of the said aspirant, saying the decision of the majority should be paramount.
Stop imposing a candidate on us in Midam Ward 1. Allow a party ward executive to finish their tenure. Mrs. Regina Inyangito is a candidate in Midam Ward 1. This and more were displayed as placards and chants as the women, men and youth of Midam Ward 1 went on the peaceful demonstration. A pioneer councillor from Midam Ward 1 and Vice Chairman, Midam Elders Council, Mr. Xavier Hansen Akpan, described as autocratic and undemocratic for an individual to decide the fate of the whole ward without due consultation in respect to hierarchy. Mr. Akpan noted that the one individual has single-handedly claimed to have resolved the existing Elders Council, nominated and sworn in new ward executive even before the expiration of the tenure of the present executive. He expressed the desire of the people of Midam Ward 1 to file a female aspirant by majority preference and support, one with tendencies for effective representation, accountability, and a successful track record.
Saturday before last, there was a congress in the ward, and he came in and announced names of those that were appointed by him as the ward executive. At the end of it, he said he has sworn in those people to be the executive members of the ward, whereas in the whole state, no other ward sworn in what the new ward executive. He dissolved the elders forum, which is not allowed. We are saying whatever is done by him is rejected by the ward.
Also speaking were the women leader, youth leader, and others who mentioned their choice for the position, declaring her as one who will bring development and inclusion to Midam Ward 1.
So iban ebonum film eweke miso Regina Inyangeto Iwode councilor.
I want this opportunity to be given to us for us to choose our new councillor. I want a councillor that will come and empower all the women of Medium.
We need somebody who can help us. He can bring something good to us.
They appeal to Governor Moino to create a level playing ground for all aspirants vying the councillorship position in Midam Ward 1 to be chosen at the field, declaring that one man's interest cannot override the interest of the majority.
All what we want is let all those that want to contest election come down tomorrow, and whoever will win the Congress tomorrow is the one we will support.
How
much thank God because God is going to grant our request and our own request in Jesus' name.
The funeral mass of our late legal luminary Obong Otumedo comes up tomorrow Saturday at the auditorium of the St. Dominic's Chapel of Perpetual Adoration, Dominic Utok Avenue, Uyo. The mass is expected to be attended by the families, members, friends, well-wishers, government officials, captains of industries, and business associates who will pay their last respect to Obong Otumedo. The remains of the late Obong Otumedo will be laid to rest in his country home, Abak Ibiakuran, in Uran local government area. He died at the age of 70. A funeral arrangement, jointly signed by the son, Barrister Kofre Medo, and brother, Architect Medo, indicates that the funeral mass will hold at 10 o'clock in the morning of Saturday, while interment takes place at Medo's family compound, Abak Ibiakuran, Uran local government area. Heritage cultural displays were held at his Ewethausen Estate residence, Unit K48 Uyo, as well as novelty football match at his hometown, Abak Ibiakuran, Uran local government area, by 4 p.m. While night of tributes, various cultural displays will be ongoing about now. The late Obong Otumedo in his lifetime was the Ada Uran, Ada Idaga K. Frebrutu, and Obong Uforo Ibiako Uran. He began his career in the legal field as a legal manager at Merchandise Bank of Nigeria in Calabar, and later the general manager legal at NNPC from 2004 to 2014, where he retired meritoriously at the age of 60. According to his son, Barrister Kofre Medo, the late father was a devout Christian, caring father, and a role model to those who came in contact with him. He is survived by